Three major sewing machine companies are about to lose millions of customers in 2025, and they have no idea it's coming. While everyone's debating thread tension and stitch quality, there's a hidden factor that makes certain brands completely worthless. Can you guess what it is? If you're thinking about buying a sewing machine in 2025, listen up. Europro sits at the very bottom of our list, and there's a damn good reason why. These machines have earned the title King of Frustration through years of disappointing sewers everywhere. We're talking about the highest malfunction rate among major sewing brands. That's not just bad luck, that's consistent failure. What makes Europro so terrible? Well, where do I start? Jammed bobbins happen constantly. The tension goes haywire without warning. And here's the kicker. Sudden shutdowns right in the middle of your project. It's like owning a car that refuses to start every other day. But the real nightmare begins when you need help. Their customer support? Practically non-existent. When your machine inevitably breaks down, repairs often cost more than buying a brand new machine from a better company. Here's a shocking statistic. 32% of Europro owners replaced their machine within the first year. That's 1 in 3 people giving up completely. Many users describe these machines as disposable electronics, built cheap, designed to fail fast, and engineered to separate you from your money repeatedly. But Europro isn't the only brand causing headaches. Next up, we'll explore Michley machines and their infamous plastic parts problem. These lightweight machines might fool you at first glance. They're compact, colorful, and surprisingly affordable. But here's the thing about Michley. They're built like they expect you to sew maybe 10 projects and call it quits. The plastic parts crack faster than ice cubes in hot coffee. Seriously, owners report snapped tension dials and broken feed dogs within just a few months of light use. It's almost impressive how quickly things fall apart. Then there's the motor situation. These little engines struggle with anything thicker than tissue paper. Try running denim through one of these machines. Good luck with that. You'll get more resistance than a teenager asked to clean their room. The stitching consistency is another headache entirely. One minute you're getting decent straight lines, the next minute it's skipping stitches like a scratched record. Makes sense, right? When you're working with bargain basement internal components, quality control becomes more like quality suggestion. But wait, it gets worse. Only 18% of these machines survive 2 years of regular use. That's a failure rate that would make a carnival game operator blush. Speaking of disappointing purchases, let's talk about another brand that lures people in with rock-bottom prices. Many Sunbeam models hook you with those rock-bottom prices. But here's the thing. You get what you pay for, and sometimes even less. The biggest headache? Tension problems that drive you absolutely bonkers. One minute your stitches look perfect. The next, they're loose as a goose. You'll spend more time adjusting than actually sewing. Makes sense why so many folks give up on their projects halfway through, right? Then there's the needle situation. These things snap like twigs in a windstorm, even when you're sewing regular cotton fabric. I've seen people go through a whole pack of needles in one afternoon. That's not normal. But the real kicker comes when you try anything thicker than a bedsheet. Denim? Forget about it. Even basic quilting cotton can make the motor wheeze like an old dog climbing stairs. The machine starts groaning, slowing down, then just stops. Well, here's a sobering fact. More than 40% of online reviews mention major breakdowns within 12 months. That's almost half. Your bargain quickly becomes expensive when you're shopping for repairs or replacements. And if you have arthritis or limited hand mobility, you're out of luck. Most Sunbeam models skip helpful features like automatic needle threaders. Speaking of disappointing purchases, even trusted names aren't immune to quality issues. Well, this one might surprise you. Some Janome, My Style models and other low-end imports have been real disappointments lately. Makes sense, right? You hear Janome and think quality. But these budget versions are like buying a luxury car that turns out to have bicycle parts inside. Here's the weird part. Many of these machines pack way more plastic than their older cousins. Users keep complaining about bobbin winding that acts like a stubborn mule. The feeding mechanisms jam constantly, and those fancy digital displays? They flicker out faster than birthday candles in a windstorm. But why the drop in quality? Simple economics, really. To hit those rock-bottom prices, manufacturers swap out metal gears for plastic ones. It's like replacing your grandmother's cast-iron skillet with a paper plate. Sure, it's lighter, but good luck cooking anything substantial. The real kicker? Many buyers discover their Janome wasn't actually built by Janome at all. Third-party factories overseas handle production, and quality control goes out the window faster than you can say made abroad. One major review found these imports had defect rates almost 4 times higher than standard models. That's not just bad luck. That's a pattern. Speaking of patterns, let's talk about brands that make these imports look like masterpieces. You know what's funny about these so-called portable machines? They promise convenience, but deliver headaches instead. Magic Fly and Ultimate Sew sound impressive, right? Well, don't let the fancy names fool you. These compact brands love targeting beginners with their cute designs and budget prices. But here's the kicker. They can barely handle a cotton t-shirt without throwing a tantrum. Seriously, sewing speeds are so painfully slow, you'd think they're powered by hamster wheels. And the jamming? Oh boy, it happens on basic materials that should be a breeze. My neighbor bought an Ultimate Sew last Christmas, thinking she'd finally tackle her quilting dreams. 3 weeks later, she was ready to throw it out the window. She said using it was like sewing through molasses. Slow, sticky, and always on the verge of stopping completely. The numbers tell the whole story, too. 29% of Ultimate Sew machines get returned within 6 months. That's nearly 1 in 3. These aren't workhorses. They're novelty items pretending to be real sewing machines. Then there's another problem brewing with these brands. Some models come with such unique designs that they skip standard presser feet entirely. Makes sense, right? Wrong. But wait until you hear about the mystery brands flooding online marketplaces. Ever bought something online and wondered if it would actually work? Well, that's exactly what you're getting with Hytrol and Luby sewing machines. These mystery brands pop up everywhere on shopping sites. But here's the catch. Nobody really knows what you'll find inside that box. Users regularly report missing parts right out of the package. Makes sense, right? When quality control is basically non-existent, anything can happen. One woman opened her Luby machine to find screws rattling around loose inside. Another discovered her instruction manual was written in what looked like translated alien language. But the real kicker? These machines often skip basic safety features that American brands consider standard. We're talking about missing grounded power cords and no automatic shut-off switches. It's like buying a car without brakes. Technically it moves, but good luck stopping safely. Then there's the replacement parts nightmare. One tester found her Luby's light bulb burned out after just 2 weeks. Trying to replace it? Impossible. The part simply doesn't exist anywhere. And the weird part is, if you're used to classic Singer or Brother layouts, these machines will leave you scratching your head for hours. Speaking of scratching your head, let's talk about a brand that used to be legendary. Modern Necchi machines? Well, that's a story that'll make any vintage sewing enthusiast shake their head. These new models are like buying a classic Cadillac, only to find out someone swapped the engine for a lawnmower motor. The original Necchi machines from the 1960s were built like tanks, heavy metal construction, precision gears, and stitching that could outlast your great-grandmother's quilts. But today's versions? They're packed with more plastic than a kid's toy box. Here's what really gets me frustrated. These newer machines develop cracks in their housing faster than ice on a hot sidewalk. The stitch controls start acting up within months, not years. And the weird part is, they're still charging premium prices for what feels like discount engineering. One repair shop owner told me he dreads seeing Necchi customers walk through his door. Why? Finding replacement parts is like hunting for hen's teeth. Makes sense, right? When manufacturers cut corners on build quality, they often do the same with parts availability. Recent surveys show up to 20% of Necchi buyers feeling buyer's remorse within 18 months. That's not the legacy this brand deserves. But speaking of mixed legacies, let's talk about a brand that's got everyone scratching their heads. Now here's where things get interesting. Juki builds some of the toughest industrial sewing machines on the planet, the kind that can stitch leather all day without breaking a sweat. But their home models? Well, that's a different story entirely. See, Juki's reputation comes from those heavy-duty factory machines that cost more than most people's cars. When they decided to make consumer versions, something got lost in translation. It's like expecting a bulldozer but getting a fancy golf cart instead. Looks impressive, but where's the power? Home sewers often struggle with thread tension issues on entry-level Juki machines. The feeding mechanism that works so beautifully on industrial models can be finicky with everyday fabrics. Makes sense, right? These machines were designed for one thing, then asked to do something completely different. The weird part is their customer support. While industrial customers get white-glove service, home users often wait weeks for help. Rural areas? Good luck finding a repair shop that knows Juki inside and out. But here's the twist. Some Juki home models are actually built by Janome. Those tend to be rock solid. Their high-end sergers still dominate professional shops, too. However, one brand consistently delivers Swiss precision without the industrial confusion. Now, here's where things get interesting. Elna machines have been quietly doing their job for decades without much fanfare. Think of them as the reliable neighbor who never complains and always has their lawn perfectly trimmed. These Swiss-engineered machines don't break down like those plastic nightmares we talked about earlier. Only 7% of Elna owners report major problems in the first 2 years. That's like finding a teenager who actually cleans their room without being asked. Pretty rare. What makes Elna special? Well, they're now owned by Janome, which means you're getting that same excellent engineering under a different name. It's like buying a luxury car that shares parts with a premium brand, but costs less. The electronics are designed with real people in mind. Large, clear buttons that don't require a magnifying glass to read. Thread guides that actually make sense. And the tension stays put once you set it. Imagine that. Sure, entry-level models might not have every bell and whistle, but they'll keep stitching long after those bargain machines have given up the ghost. Makes sense, right? But what if you want Swiss precision with even more features? That's where our next brand comes in, and trust me, they take reliability to a whole different level. Now, here's where things get interesting. Bernett might not be a household name like Singer, but don't let that fool you. This is Swiss engineering at its finest. Think of those fancy Swiss watches, but for sewing machines. Bernett is actually the younger sibling of Bernina, one of the most prestigious sewing brands in the world. But here's the clever part. They took all that Swiss precision and made it affordable for everyday folks like us. It's like getting a Mercedes engine in a Honda price range. What really sets Bernett apart? Consistency. These machines don't throw tantrums or decide to skip stitches on a Tuesday morning. The buttonholes come out perfect every single time. No weird gaps or bunched fabric. And the feeding mechanism? Smooth as butter on warm toast. The interfaces are refreshingly simple, too. Big, clear buttons that actually make sense. None of this hunting through 17 different menus just to change your stitch length. Perfect for anyone who remembers when machines had actual knobs and dials. Sure, you'll pay a bit more upfront than some bargain brands. But when your neighbor is on their third cheap machine and you're still happily humming along with your first Bernett, you'll understand why quality matters. But speaking of reliable workhorses, now let's talk about a brand that actually gets it right. Brother has been quietly winning over sewers for decades, and there's a good reason why your neighbor probably swears by theirs. These machines just work. No drama, no surprises, no calling your grandson to figure out why the thread keeps snapping. Brother builds their machines like they expect you to actually use them, which is refreshing in today's throwaway world. The automatic needle threader? It actually threads the needle instead of mocking your eyesight. The tension stays put once you set it, and when you press the foot pedal, the machine responds like it's supposed to. Not like a cranky teenager being asked to take out the trash. Here's what I love about Brother. They make machines for real people, not engineers. The buttons are big enough to see without a magnifying glass. The manual makes sense. Even their computerized models don't require a computer science degree to operate. Tech Gear Lab just named the Brother HC 1850 as the best overall home sewing machine for 2025. That's not marketing fluff. That's recognition from people who test these things all day long. But here's the real kicker about reliability that most people miss. After 170 years in business, Singer still sits at the top like that reliable old pickup truck that never lets you down. Well, maybe with better paint and fewer rust spots. Here's what makes Singer special in 2025. They've figured out how to keep their classic engineering while adding modern touches that actually work. Their new models come with programmable stitches and quilting options that don't require a computer science degree to operate. The weird part is how they've managed to stay relevant across generations. Your grandmother probably learned on a Singer, and now grandkids are using the same brand with touchscreen displays. It's like watching your favorite diner add Wi-Fi, but still serve the same great pie. But the real winner here? Singer makes machines perfect for folks dealing with arthritis or hand strength issues. Clear, large buttons and gentle pedal action mean sewing doesn't have to become a wrestling match with your equipment. Recent surveys show Singer maintains the highest satisfaction rates among machines under $500. Makes sense, right? When you've been around since 1851, you learn a thing or two about not disappointing customers. For 2025, Singer remains that sweet spot where heritage meets modern needs without breaking the bank.